Welcome back, and thanks for joining us again on This Week in the Valley. As you can see, we are back in the studio this week, and it feels pretty good.
Yes, it does. And however, we certainly enjoyed visiting with our customers and everyone at our customer appreciation events. But before we go any further, it's time to announce our winner for the 2016 Customer Appreciation. And we've got all of the sign-ups right here, Donna, so I'm going to go ahead and get that ready for you.
All right, we're going to stir it up a bit. Make sure we get them all stirred up. All right, here we go. Here we go. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
All right, help me out there.
Charlene Scully from Huntsville.
All right, well, congratulations, Charlene. You're a winner of the $100 Sheridan Valley gift certificate, and we'll be getting in contact with you shortly.
Thanks again to all of our customers who stopped in at any of our customer appreciation events. We look forward to doing it again next year. We had great weather. Got a little hot out there, but again, we appreciate it, and congrats again to Charlene.
Absolutely. Well, we have a great show for you this week. Joining us in a bit is 6th District Representative Tim Remley, who always keeps us informed, and Gene Jones talks with W.T. Johnson and Gene Miles about the Foster Grandparent Program, which sounds really exciting.
We'll hope everyone got to see some of the fabulous firework displays in our area over the July 4th holiday. There's nothing quite like the feeling of sharing our American pride and celebrating our freedom.
Our freedom is a privilege we all enjoy, but it comes with a shared responsibility. It is our responsibility to be informed on the issues that affect us and our country. Our first guest, Representative Remley, keeps us informed of what he is working on in the House, both while in session and out of session. Legislative session ended about mid-May, and we are so pleased to have Representative Remley here to tell us, keep us informed and enlighten us on what's going on, and we appreciate him taking time out to be here. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's always a privilege to come in and talk with you and let everyone know what's been going on.
Well, thanks. Well, let's start with Bill 1713. It passed.
Yeah, it did. That was a biological bill that I had filed early on, and I was really happy to see that make it across the finish line, and we're still waiting to see if the governor signs that into law.
And if it gets signed into law, what does that mean for us?
Well, it's requiring the DNR to, put out the information on the website and for all the communities, and whether small or big, to be able to use biologicals as another alternative or a help to their system in wastewater, and which we're seeing that it could actually save hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars for our small communities, and especially our rural communities, small communities that we're seeing under this, a lot of heavy regulations from the DNR right now. And they're meeting that regulations. They can meet them through biologicals. And in Jefferson City, just here, we've been having meetings even after session. And we were at the Capitol just last week in another meeting, and they said that it is legal to use biologicals as long as we have the clean water coming out of the discharge on these systems, that it's fine to use. And we're seeing communities really excited about it because it could save, I know one community will save about $400,000.
Wow, that's important for the small towns.
Oh, it really is, and I was really glad. And what was exciting about that, we're seeing that biologicals are used in agriculture as well. Mm-hmm. And I've been in conversation with Director Fordyce, Richard Fordyce, and with Ag, and we're going to have some meetings about it. And it's working great in CAFOs and also cattle confinement. And I think it's going to be a huge thing for Ag, that we can make a lot of things that needs to be done, and it makes our water safer and everything else.
We got to have safe water. That's so important.
Yeah, it really is, and that was and we did a lot of good other bills in Ag, and they passed, and the governor just signed one in last Friday, and that helps agriculture. And it's the #1 industry in our state, and we're trying to encourage that Ag to continue, and we're seeing the governor and Fordyce and some others went to Cuba to try to do those. And I think there's going to have to be a lot of things worked out before that happens. But they've already tried some of our rice and some other products so agriculture is on the move.
Well, that's great. Well, and the bill 1713 now goes to the Senate, or it's going to the governor's?
It's actually on the governor's desk.
It's on the governor's desk, and so when will a decision be made on that, or?
Well, he's got so long, and if he doesn't do anything, it just becomes law. If he signs it, it becomes law. And usually in August, around in the middle of August, is when the laws come into effect. And then if he vetoes it, we'll have a veto session in September. And I don't look for him to veto it. And there was an amendment that they're concerned about, and that was a Clean Water Amendment. And but really it didn't change it as bad as what some are trying to say. So, but we have a lot of environmental things, people like Sierra Club and those kind of people that come out against a lot of things, and sometimes that has an impact on a bill, whether it gets vetoed or not.
Yeah, very much so. Well, so I know something that's near and dear to your heart is the energy information, the Energy Board. You're on the Southern States Energy Board, and you've got a lot of activity going on with that.
Yeah, we do. We have another meeting in Kentucky this year in July, and actually we've already been in contact with them, and we'll be going and discussing a lot of energy issues that's really important to the whole United States, but in particular Missouri, and being appointed to that board, we have another representative that I go out and we are involved in those meetings. They're very educational, but also we put our input, and a lot of times the Department of Energy on the national level is there, so we get to put our input and stand up for coal, and like I've always said, that's such an important part of our area.
Yeah, you've mentioned that many times on this show.
Yeah, and I'm excited about one thing too. That after the elections, whoever wins, there's already a tour planned for the.
Oh.
It's going to be the freshman tour.
Good.
The power plant's going to be a part of that tour again this year. So
that is
I'm
great.
excited about that.
That is great. So you're also headed to North Dakota.
Yes, I was invited to go out to North Dakota to a gas fracking area where they'll actually go on site and see how the fracking is done and show how safe it is and the precautions that they take. And so they've invited different legislators to come out there that's been involved in energy, and so that's going to be kind of a new venture, but I always like to learn about everything that has to do with energy, so I decided to go out there.
Right, and then Arkansas, there's something going on in Arkansas.
Yeah, in September we'll be traveling with the Southern States Energy Board again, and then that's where we'll actually vote. We carry the vote for Missouri on energy issues, and our message we sent to Washington last year, they said it was the strongest message that Washington had ever heard of was from the Southern State Board, and it did have an impact. It really did, and I think that we just got to keep letting our voices be heard, and that West Virginia and Kentucky and some of these other states that was really hit hard and it's devastated their economies, and so we just kind of joined together as 16 states and just stand up for our rights as states as well.
Well, I know it's important to us and to many that coal is maintained, and it's an industry that we protect.
Yeah, it really is, and we have a lot of the green states. I call them green states. They've done all this green energy, and they when they started having the blackouts, they realized that they could not make it without coal, and so actually they're still buying coal energy, and that's the only reason why they're not having blackouts. And that's one of the things I've talked to coal industry all the time and power companies. They say, what's never talked about is the fact that these states do buy coal power, so they can continue their lifestyles and not have the blackouts. And another thing I'd like to point out, Donna, was a lot of information getting out there on global warming right now, because we've had these hot temperatures. And I don't know if you remember, but I know back in my day, back in when I was in high school in Moberly and West End, we were let out of school because of the heat. Mm-hmm. And I particularly listened to the record temperatures, and there might be a threat of a record being broke, but a lot of those hot days were back in the 70s and the 80s, and but the global warmest fear mongers, I guess you say, they try to use these hot temperatures as though the Earth is temperatures rising. And I just watched a report the other day that scientists are saying that it could raise clear up to 3 degrees. Right now, the Earth has not warmed up, not even 1 degree. It's in the percentage of 1%. And so these alarmists are trying to use these hot temperatures to play on people's feelings and scare people. And it's something that they just want to promote this agenda. And so I just kind of want to make that clear that, it's hot. Believe me, I know, I've been out in it. So.
And it's summertime, so we kind of expect that.
Yeah, we really do. And, so we're taking the hit for maybe a lot of things that are happening in other countries, like China. They don't have any of the regulations, and they're not forced to, and so it's just interesting how they play on our feelings.
Yeah. Well, speaking of summer and hot, this is always the time that you have your annual fish fry.
Yeah, I always have had that, usually in June, and this year we're planning on having it in July, and kind of let the baseball schedules kind of get played out. And I've been to a lot of them, and grandson's playing this year, and I've enjoyed being at the ballpark a lot this year, and it's been fun. And so anyway, we moved that date, and we had a date set, and then the Southern States Energy Board, that date conflicted with that, so we're gonna have it later on in toward the end of July. And
so stay tuned. That date's coming up.
Yeah, we'll let everyone know, and we'll be advertising it.
Yeah, it's always a fun time. It's always nice and good food.
Yeah, we usually have a bounce house and for the kids, and then people like to we give them updates on national level a little bit, and how that's affecting us on the state level, and so that'd be great. I'd like to see a lot of people out there again.
Yeah. Well, it is an election year, and we have lots of information in the news about our presidential candidates. I wondered if you wanted to comment either way on what's going on and all the hype.
We're seeing so much, and a lot of people are aggravated the way everything's going, in our country. And we're seeing a lot of things that I hear it a lot. I really do. Everywhere I go, people are asking me who I support and things like that. And I do encourage the people to vote and stay by, what you believe. And my candidate that I was wanting is not one of the two that seemingly is going to be voting on this year. But I will tell you, we need to stick to the Constitution, and that is the most important thing. And the socialist views that are being thrown on us today really has scared me, and it's happening. And I see it in the legislature on down in some of the rulings that we just heard this morning that the Supreme Court made. Those Supreme Court justices are making laws that's against the Constitution. And, they're to interpret, and we're seeing the thing forced on the people that actually the people of this country don't like. So I'm going with a candidate I feel is going to be appointing some strong constitutional justices, and I think that's going to be critical for our country, and this is probably one of the most important elections that we're looking at, and you know, it's our our Second Amendment rights, and all that thing takes in the and you know, I think it's so important. We're seeing where some countries, they lost those rights, they lost their guns, and we see a lot of things happening there that are very frightening. And to think that, you know, we should never, and that's why our forefathers said and put that in the Second Amendment. And I'm not against background checks. I think we ought to be safe with our guns and stuff like that. But as far as restricting to even own one or have one, it should not be restricted. We need to have our rights, and our constitutional rights are. And you know, I'm trying to do constitutional moments, and that's one thing at Fish Fry I'm going to be handing out is Constitution, U.S. Constitutions, and because I want people to realize how important that document is. I believe it was a divine thing that was done. I mean, when our forefathers, you look what our forefathers went through, and the real history of our forefathers were, and it's documented in the minutes that they actually stopped and they prayed when they were doing the Constitution, because they wanted divine help, because they realized that this had never been done. And that's why America has been so great, and is because we were founded on those principles, and that's why the Constitution, it's the oldest document that of any country, and that's what's made America great, and we have to stick and stay with the Constitution.
So you said something about Constitution moments. So are you doing a program of some sort, or just whenever you have opportunity to talk?
I'm actually doing one on KLTE right now, and in the mornings. And,
okay.
And we're just we do a Pledge of Allegiance we'll be doing local schools, and then I throw out a constitutional fact or a moment for people. And we talked about the Second Amendment rights last week, and freedom of speech, and because I want people to realize we still have a Constitution, and we need to stand up for it. And you know, our military and our leader, we've given an oath. Our military gives an oath. The legislators give an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution. And so we don't pledge an oath to the president or any other elected official. We give our oath to the Constitution to protect and uphold it. And I think that's what we need to do. And that's what made America great, and that's what we got to have.
Absolutely. Well, you know, for someone that wants to be an informed voter and on the issues and on the candidates, where are some of the best places they can go for information? Because you hear so much on the news, and sometimes it just directly contradicts whatever what's being said.
When I was running, when I run for office, it's good to get get on the website of a candidate, find their phone numbers, and find straight from that candidate. And if they don't want to answer your question straight out, I mean, I've you're not going to please everybody, and but if you really want to know how a candidate is, talk to that candidate. And I know on national issue I can't do that, but they'll have a website, and they'll have a phone number or a website you can go to, and send a message and ask them about issues that you're concerned about. And firsthand is always the best way. Absolutely.
Well, Representative Remley, we, as always, thank you for your time. We appreciate the insight and look forward to...
I always enjoy coming in.
Well, good. Yeah. Good to hear. Well, you have to come back and let us know how everything is going later on this summer, in the fall.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.